One of the most iconic and longest running movie franchises is, of course, the James Bond franchise. This is a franchise that started in 1962 in cinemas and is near and dear to my heart. I love it. Jason here, unfortunately, hates James Bond. He thinks James Bond is a poor representation of the masculine image of what a man should be. But nevertheless, we are going to get into it, and I'm excited to talk about this movie franchise that has spawned 25 different films. It has had 12 different directors, 6 different James Bonds, and now recently we heard about the 13th director, which possibly might be the most pivotal move in the history of James Bond to reignite the franchise, which of course is the great Denis Villeneuve, a man who has directed movies such as Sicario, Prisoners, the Dune saga, Blade Runner 2049. I mean, this man does not miss with his movies. He is my favorite modern director. I think he will go down as one of the greatest directors of all time. And there's a lot of excitement around James Bond. Still there is the question of who will play James Bond. They are currently searching for a writer for Denis Villeneuve to sign off on, and then after that, they will find their James Bond, and so on and so forth. Will the process go until we get a James Bond, probably around 2027? Let us start this discussion. I was very excited to talk about this because when I saw that Denis Villeneuve is directing the next James Bond movie, I got so excited because the James Bond franchise had went stagnant under Daniel Craig, who hated playing James Bond, and Casino Royale, I think, is the greatest James Bond movie, but after that, it is few and far between. Skyfall was a really good James Bond movie, but the other ones are forgettable, especially the last one, No Time to Die, was really forgettable. And now Jason can tell us all why he hates James Bond. He would have rather talk about anime. Whatever is happening with a sentient toaster getting out of that prison cell, I'm sure I just can't wait with bated breath as to what's happening.
The top one this season is sentient trash. It's a whole world where we've thrown trash off the edge of our world, and the trash is coming alive.
He'd rather talk about the new Superman movie, which we will talk about next. However, Jason, I would like to know, why do you hate James Bond? What did James Bond ever do to you to make you not care about talking about him?
Hate is a strong word, my friend, but unexciting or not looking forward to or wish it would just go away are more of the terms that I'm leaning towards because, like you said, 26 movies. This thing has gone so far from where it started, where the Sean Connery days of the wearing velour jumpers, rompers, and hooking up with like 90 girls in one of the movies. Like, that's the James Bond I want to go back to, man. Why can't we get like Odd Job throwing his hat across the room, cutting guys' heads off and hooking up with girls? Like, that's what James Bond used to be. What have we gotten to? We've gotten to the Christopher Nolan of James Bonds now, of dark and whining and going around and crying about M or Q dying. I can't even remember what happened in the last one. But yeah, it's exactly what the superhero franchise is going, is like, we want it dark and more gritty and real. And that's exactly what James Bond is not. It was supposed to be fun and gadgets and colors and 70s and 60s kind of vibe. And we've gotten so far from that. And that's probably my biggest concern moving forward, except the fact that it could be Timothy Chalamet playing our new Bond. Shit like that is what doesn't make me excited. Oh, who else is on the list? Oh, Tom Holland. Oh yeah, he'll be real great. And who else? Aaron Taylor Johnson. Like, I mean, I guess he wouldn't be as bad, but the list of guys that they're even talking about for this is so unexciting. And now they're saying they need someone under 30 years old, that because they wanted to hold this franchise for the next couple years. So they're not going to do some Idris Elba or Tom Hardy or some of these cool people that we were talking about for this role, or even Cavill. Like, now they need some young buck to like put this whole franchise on. So yeah, sign me up. I'll be there for some young buck playing a depressing Bond movie. Over to you, Remy.
Jason, you're so wrapped up in the magical silver age of dorky comics right now that you're just like, Silver Age James Bond, Silver Age Hello Kitty, give it to me. I want it all. Hello Kitty's just taking itself too seriously these days. I need Goofy.
Oh, those are the good days.
I mean, you can't compare everything to the 60s and 70s. Everybody was on acid. They were all doing acid. That's why everything was dorky and colorful and like silly and fun.
Yes, get him on acid again if that's what it takes.
I need my James Bond on MDMA. I think this is amazing. I mean, yeah, I'm right there with you, Mav. I love Denis Villeneuve. I do not think he's made a bad movie yet. I think his movies are all like four to 5 stars at minimum, and I think he has incredible vision. I think he is not a shill, not a studio shill. Like he only will make things with the absolute purest intent of being respectful to source material, but also like doing the absolute best job he can possibly do, not just for a dime. Like he's clearly made his money with Dune. That's not so he's not doing this for just the sake of money making. Clearly, I do believe that he has the ability to make what will be maybe what could be, depending on the actor that they get, could be one of the most iconic, memorable Bonds we've ever got. So I am really, really excited. I think, like strap yourself in for a slow burn Bond film that's maybe a little bit less action packed,
Woo!
but I think Denis Villeneuve deserves all of the benefit of the doubt. And even though his style typically wouldn't make sense for like this sort of action film, I think if you take some elements from Sicario, as far as like thriller, and how he actually handles some of the action scenes in that, let's not forget the Ghost Recon scene from Sicario. I mean, there's some great opportunities here, and I'm very excited about it.
There was a surprising, to me, reaction online of Denis Villeneuve being announced, because some people were like myself and Remy were just overjoyed, like this is the greatest news ever. Yes, I do think Christopher Nolan would have been more of a form fit. It definitely, his style plays to James Bond. Nolan's biggest weakness is emotional depth, and that is something that James Bond movies typically do not need. You don't like it's usually episodic. The Daniel Craig series became like a storyline that kind of they try to just keep making up retcons and creating this long story that wasn't really necessary. Typically, James Bond movies are episodic in nature. Therefore, you do not need the emotional depth. Christopher Nolan would have been perfect, but Christopher Nolan demands final cut say, which is something that Amazon and the executives were not willing to give anybody. Hence, he's not the director. Denis Villeneuve did sign off on that, and so he will be the director, not with final cut. So that is a bit unfortunate. But to quote Scarlett Johansson in Civil War, with one hand on the steering wheel, we can still have somewhat say in what happens. So the importance of what happens next is to find the right James Bond, the right guy for the role. There's so many rumors out there on who could play James Bond and who will play James Bond. There is absolutely nothing official. I think it's a lot of politics. There's a lot of people at Amazon that are leaking names, trying to figure out what people gravitate to. It seems to me like nobody wants a young baby-faced Tom Holland. Nobody wants a guy like that. They want a guy like Henry Cavill that I would choose is in his 40s, and by the time they make this movie, he'd be approaching his mid 40s. And it's like, okay, well, they want to make a franchise. I can understand the business aspect of not wanting someone that's already 45 by the time the first movie comes out. So we'll see what happens. But Denis Villeneuve clearly is. Yes, is he the most exciting guy of all time? But like, okay, are we going to go with Michael Bay? Like, oh, let's go with him. He makes exciting movies. He has fun. He has colors.
Is he still an option? Is Michael Bay still like
Michael Bay is directing the next Transformers movie? So
oh shit, I thought he'd
back.
Just
We're so back.
Yeah,
we're so back. But like, okay, this is the thing, is that I was surprised when so many people were saying that we're saying Denis Villeneuve, like, oh, his movies are slow and like I don't know if he's a good match. He makes good fucking movies. Like, this guy makes good, mature movies, gets the best possible performances out of his actors. Jake Gyllenhaal. I mean, out of all of the movies of Hugh Jackman, his performance in Prisoners is a top tier. I don't care what award it did or didn't win. that is his best performance in any of his movies. Like, he does get the very best of every actor. And so whoever is James Bond, whoever's the villain, whoever's the Bond girl, will it be the most tonally perfect James Bond movie? Probably not, but I do believe it could be one of the best James Bond movies simply because he takes himself very seriously and he gets the best of the people he works with, Jason.
I mean, you're right. If a translation from a Ian Fleming, novel onto screen, yeah, you're probably right. It'll be one of the best, and he'll respect the work and everything like that. And I mean, is Dave one of these guys who uses the same actors in a lot of movies? Not so much. So it doesn't. I mean, I'm worried that it's going to be Chalamet since they're like BFF now after the Dune stuff, and they know they can sell it too. Because that's actually what worries me more than anything is Amazon having their hand on the steering wheel. Like they did really good with Rings of Power.
Well, I don't think there was anyone on the other end of that steering wheel. It wasn't like, oh, we got Christopher Nolan to be the director. Like, they didn't have anyone involved in that show that was reputable, and it seemed like there was no one there that gave you confidence that show was going to be good. But Denis Villeneuve does give a lot of confidence. He literally hasn't missed in any of his movies. The least of his movies would be Enemy, which is a low budget, like experimental movie he made with Jake Gyllenhaal, which isn't a bad movie, but it's just kind of a low budget, just indie movie. But literally every time he's had a budget and every time he's made a movie, they're all incredible.
The only saving grace could be if he uses a no name, that is David is going to be the draw of this movie, the next James Bond movie brought to you by this director rather than starring this actor,
Denny.
and so
Not David.
Denny?
David Fincher.
Denny with an E. Denny?
Denis. Denny.
Oh, okay. Old Dave.
No, you're shoehorning Dave Filoni into like, oh, I know a Dave that's a good director. Not.
Yeah, see, all Daves, yeah. But I mean, we'll see. I God, Amazon, man, because if they respect the property and not try to do like we're gonna do our version of James Bond. I mean, I guess that's what already happened. So I don't know, man. There's too many questions, too many what ifs, too many. There's not enough right now where it's just like this one director attached to it is not enough to sell it for me quite yet. I need Mo.
As Jason mentioned, a no name, that it has been the history of James Bond is getting an actor who's relatively speaking a no name. So we've had 6: Sean Connery, George Lazenby, Roger Moore, Timothy Dalton, Pierce Brosnan, and Daniel Craig. None of them were big movie stars when they got the role. So Rem, what would be the appropriate move? Is it to find a relatively unknown actor to take up the mantle that you could then have be a James Bond for 3+ movies? Or at this point, you have the big shot director, you have the big budget, you have Amazon. Is the move to get someone with more of a big name to just fully put the movie out there and be like, we're back, we're spending all the money, we're getting the biggest names? What is the correct move in this position?
Yeah, I mean, from Amazon's perspective, yeah, I get it. You're franchise building. You're thinking a minimum of 3 movies here, probably a stupid spinoff that doesn't go anywhere. But yeah, I definitely understand why they
movie.
Yeah, it'll be exactly Q's backstory, a prequel. So yeah, I do 100% understand, and I don't fault them for wanting the young guy. And yeah, I think that has a lot of potential. Because I do think, I mean, if Denis Villeneuve can convince the world that Timothy Chalamet is some sort of messianic leader, when he looks like just the most regular Joe skinny schmo, like it's not like, I don't know. It's not like you got, Chris Hemsworth and you were like, oh, Chris Hemsworth, like, there's a reason you can buy Chris Hemsworth as Thor, right? Timothy, it's like on paper before Dune, it's just like, how is this man the leader of men? But by the end of Dune 2, it's like, I'm fully bought in. So I do think he can take just about anybody, and Timothy is a respectable actor for sure, but you can take it. I think he could, anybody that's a decent actor that's willing to really put in the work. I think Denny can flip him to being something really iconic. That being said, I mean, yeah, if I was choosing, it'd be Henry Cavill. Just like take the one shot, make $1 trillion, and make the best James Bond movie ever with Henry Cavill as just like a one story just by itself. That's what I would do. But so yeah, I don't know. I'm very, very optimistic about this. I don't think Denny would get, even without final say, I just don't believe that he would get involved in something where he didn't have enough creative control to really guarantee a solid product.
That's exactly what I think. Right now, as I said, they're in the process of finding a writer that Denny would sign off on. That writer would write the story, and then Denny will go in after he makes the next Dune movie and be able to edit it and write his own part of it accordingly. There is as you mentioned, Rem, there is the interesting aspect of one of the reasons that the franchise is currently in complete control of Amazon, because the Broccolis, a family that had literally ran this franchise since Dr. No in 1962. There was the father, and then the daughter took over, and they had been the stewards of the franchise. They'd sign off on all the James Bonds. They were the ones in charge, and they got so sick. Barbara Broccoli specifically got so sick of dealing with Amazon and their demands and what they wanted that they just threw their hands up, and they're just like, all right, fine, we're out, and you guys can do whatever you want with it, because the way that Barbara Broccoli allegedly spoke about this was that Amazon was just about content, and they were like, we want spin-off shows, we want a Moneypenny show, we want this. And to Remy's the Q show, I'm just like, they're not even going to do a Q show, they're going to do a P show. It's going to be the prequel show of the guy that would go on to teach Q how to be Q. Like, that is the scariest part of this, is that James Bond has always been a once every 3+ years movie that comes out, and it's an event, and it's in theaters. You see it on the marquee, and you're like, yeah, James Bond's back, and this is the new James Bond movie. And now you're just like, they're definitely going to butcher the hell out of it. They're going to make a million different spinoffs, and that is just an inevitability of the world we live in today, thanks to Marvel and Disney and all that. However, that's not to say that the canonical, is that correct? Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Canonical James Bond movies that will go in theaters will not be good as long as they are appropriately handled by the creative forces that be. And so I am excited for this, and I really am interested to see where they go with the James Bond. I think whoever they cast as James Bond will tell you everything you need to know about who is controlling the franchise. I don't think Timothée Chalamet, he's just not there yet. He's too young. He's too boyish. We need a man. And that's one of the things that Denis Villeneuve talked about. And I know that everyone can just say, fan service, and they can just say, oh, the greatest things ever. But when he talked about growing up, he talked about, quote, some of my earliest movie-going memories are connected to 007. I grew up watching James Bond films with my father. Ever since Dr. No with Sean Connery, I'm a diehard Bond fan. And he talked about being a Bond fan years ago, prior to all of this. This isn't just new things. But he did say that he intends to honor the tradition and open the path for many new missions to come, which, Jason, I do think that there's a call to go back to those, Technicolor, bright, optimistic, fun movies, and I do think that that's not lost on Denny. I don't think Denny is going to make the Prisoners version of James Bond. I do think there will be a callback to those gadgets and fun times and banging bras and throwing back whiskeys and throwing back a Marlboro pack. I mean, I do think that those are elements that could be in the next James Bond.
I was just thinking, it was a Kingsman that kind of felt like that. I feel like almost Kingsman. I mean, I know Samuel L. destroyed that movie for me as the villain, but like that almost felt like a newer age. Like, dude, he was horrible in that movie. I will die on that hill. God damn.
Samuel L. hasn't been good in a movie in like 10 years.
Oh yeah,
15 years,
up.
Like long time.
He was good in the last in the Hateful Eight. He was good in the Hateful Eight.
There you go.
Which I need to rewatch that, because I just watched some house building show about the girl in that, like the girl in Hateful Eight, that actress.
Yeah, she's great.
They built some. So yeah, they built her house or something like that, and I really got to learn about that actress. It's like, oh, that's right, she's in Hateful Eight. Anyways, the Kingsman kind of feel to it, where it is a little campier, but it is a little more new age, kind of thing. But they went a little too far with the campiness on that one. So yeah, riding that line, but all this talk about Denny being able to put out a good movie, but Amazon having the final word. It's like it's almost like he's saying like, I'm going to try real hard, but Amazon, at the end of the day, they're the ones that are going to be the ones that fuck this up for me. It's like it's almost like that. It's like we're all going into this with such great expectations, but knowing that Amazon is just going to destroy this in the very end because of the past of what they've kind of shown, that it is more of a moneymaker than making a something good. And to my point, this broccoli nonsense of that they've already thrown in the towel. Like if they already see the writings on the wall that this is going to be something that is just let's wring as much money out of this dead franchise as we can, kind of like, oh yeah, sign me up, I'm going to give you my Amazon subscription.
Well, that's hilarious
So
coming from you, considering that you can't wait for the next David Filoni Star Wars project where he's like, oh, I got a new character that's going to be better than ever, and it's going to tie into everything, Jason.
Star Wars has never been shameful about that or never hidden that. They have gone every direction, every lunchbox to animated show, from the very beginning. So it's been about
no.
So as much against the wall as possible and see what sticks, kind of with Star Wars.
No, because all of those, like the holiday special and those weird animated things, those were like nobody even watched those. Nobody really.
The Ewoks, the Ewok movie, I watched.
I did watch the
times
Ewok movie as a child. I do remember that, but it wasn't like, oh, this is canonical.
Homegirl's name is Cinder, I think. We were talking about it last night. I think the little blonde girl in that movie's name is Cinder. Actually, I need to look that up right now because if it is, we're watching that tonight.
It's too bad that it's been decanonized, Jason. It doesn't even matter anymore.
Like the James Bond franchise.
Oh, God damn it. Boo. You hate men. Listen, Jason, I had a hope.
Oh, that's what we could do. Make Bond a woman. Oh, yeah.
I mean, that was a rumor from years ago, but that was never going to happen, or at least that never became serious. But anyway, Rem, final word to you. Is there anything about
Jane Bond? There you go.
Is there anything about the James Bond movies coming up that you are that you are going to pin your? Is it all riding on the actor, and after that, it's just wait for the movie to come out? Or are there other things that you're interested to see how exactly they're handled?
I mean, the writer will matter, right? Let's not forget that. The writer will definitely matter. That I honestly think will matter a little bit more than the actor, because assuming they're just going to pick a random actor that maybe none of us know or is small, lesser known. If that's the case, and then the writer is just like some rando, like, oh, he's worked on other Amazon projects. Massive alarm bells. Like if it's the writer from this fucking Idris Elba John Cena movie that's coming out, if it like one of the writers like is attached to that, or it has like 5 writers, like any sort of weird shit like that will definitely make me really, really concerned and make me bummed. But as long as it's like a half decent, respectable writer, and an actor that generally fits the vibe, I think I'll mostly be in top spirits for this.
This is a clear just trust the process. Denny's involved. He does not make bad movies. I am fully confident that he's going to make the best movie he possibly can, with whatever restraints that he has to deal with. And it will be very interesting to see the direction they go as far as who they cast as James Bond. But Remy, you are correct. Who is going to be the writer of this movie is very important, because Denny, from reports, has to sign off, or he is going to sign off on this guy. It might be someone that Denny's already worked with. And that would be also very pivotal if something like that could happen. But this is it. This is truly the best news I could have possibly heard about James Bond, is that Denis Villeneuve was involved, because the James Bond franchise just went so astray with the Daniel Craig era. It went so far away from, like Jason said, that fun, the guy that just goes in, kills people, bangs chicks, and like it's James Bond. It's a fantasy. The ultimate male fantasy is James Bond. The guy that guys want to be, the guy that girls want to be with. I mean, this is it is the longest running movie franchise to date. And there are great movies, there are bad movies, there are in between movies. It is a fascinating watch. If you go back and watch the 25 movies that are already out, it's very interesting to watch the ebbs and flows. Sean Connery clearly is the best James Bond. And I do think that under Denis Villeneuve's oversight, we might just make James Bond great again. And that's Last Page.